So let's talk about one of the weirdest movies that has come out in 2024. And I mean weirdest due to all the circumstances of it. Maybe a lot of you have heard of Sing Sing and you haven't gotten the chance to see it. I did get the chance to see it right before the end of the new year. And I have a lot of thoughts about Sing Sing, but specifically I want to start off this discussion focusing on the studio that released Sing Sing, which is A24. They have always been at the forefront of indie cinema since their inception in the early 2010s. And they have championed a lot of great movies, and specifically they have helped champion a lot of great movies to Oscar successes, especially in the realm of movies that feature point of views from non-white actors slash filmmakers. I think of Moonlight, Barry Jenkins. I think of the Daniels with Everything Everywhere All at Once. And now we have Sing Sing. For those who do not know, Sing Sing follows the real life story of incarcerated men who find rehabilitation through this program, Rehabilitation Through the Arts, at the Sing Sing maximum security prison. And in this movie, there is a lot of actual real incarcerated men, or I should say formerly incarcerated men, who appear as themselves in this movie. This film is led by Colman Domingo and has other supporting performances. Clarence Maclin, who is one of the men in this movie, who's also formerly incarcerated, he helped write this story. And this movie is a really profound, beautiful, emotionally compelling movie throughout. And those who do not know, this movie premiered at 2023's TIFF Festival, and it doesn't get its release. Sing Sing buys it then, but it doesn't get released until summer of 2024. And now it's in the Oscar race. And in T-minus 48 hours from you guys listening to this, we will know who is nominated for Oscars. And right now, Sing Sing seemingly is struggling to gain some momentum. And I am predicting on my list that it will miss out. But regardless if it misses out or if it doesn't miss out, there was a possibility for this movie to get a lot of love, maybe even go on to win a lot of categories. But A24 did not focus on that. And that's what I want to talk about today. The thing that I find most baffling about Sing Sing was its release strategy and how it's being sold to us, the public. Why I wasn't easily able to access this movie and review it and talk about it. For context, this movie premiered over the summer of 2024. Where I live, it was in theater for about 2 weeks max, if I'm correct. During that time, it literally was only playing during the workday at like 2:55 p.m. I believe there was quite literally only one screening of this movie. And not a lot of people I know got the chance to see it. And a lot of people I knew had heard positive things about this movie. They just never got the chance to see it. This movie never hits a PVOD release. So you're never able to rent it. And then the studio A24 says during the winter of 2024, during that December period when there was a little bit of a lull in the scheduling of releases, they were like, you know what, we'll put out Sing Sing again, give people the chance to see it. That never happens. And from my understanding, recently, as of like January 17th, I think they did another limited release. But the realistic thing is, no one has gotten to see Sing Sing. I had to really go out of my way to go and see Sing Sing. And that's a baffling thing to me. When you have a movie this good / great, why are you not letting audiences see this movie, especially if you are campaigning this movie for awards? Awards are fully based off this idea of who can take the most press, who can have the most publicity, who can have the most fan fervor, like basically who can stay in the conversation. And A24, they took a movie that premiered fall of 2023, didn't release it till the summer. When they released it in the summer, didn't let a ton of people see it, held it again so people then couldn't see it on premium, and then kind of released it / didn't, and they basically released it back in theaters the day that Oscar voting ends. And I don't want to talk anymore about that because there is a separation of the silliness of awards versus the actual critical thoughts of the movie Sing Sing. I just wanted to provide that as a context of asking the question, what is A24 doing? Why are they seemingly not championing this film? And the reason I'm asking why aren't they championing this film is because this movie is well worth championing. And it's a shame that A24 really hasn't given this movie a bigger push. And maybe in 48 hours, when the Oscar nominations are announced, you'll all be looking at this video and you'll think, well, A24 knew what they were doing, Ben. This was clearly their strategy the whole time. This is paying off to great success. Maybe I am full of shit. And I am fully wrong. I don't think I am, though. I have a feeling that whatever happens with Sing Sing, it could have underperformed. Because I think there could have been more. I think you could have had an actor like Colman Domingo win. I think you could have had actors like Clarence Maclin really be in the conversation. An adapted screenplay. This movie getting the SAG ensemble. Like, there could have been so much more. This being a Surefront's Best Picture frontrunner. Like, that's the quality of Sing Sing, which I'm now going to talk about. But this movie, you follow the character of Divine G, played by Colman Domingo. He is the veteran of this rehabilitation through the arts. He is the Shakespearean actor, if you will. He is the gifted. He is the most talented. He is an extremely poignant actor in this, and you can see how he leads these men and how he keeps these men focused and how much they truly believe in what they are doing in this rehabilitation through the arts. And along the way, there is this other incarcerated man played by Clarence Maclin in this movie, and he's a lot rougher. He's a lot more doesn't want to do it the way that it's always been done. And these two characters in Colman Domingo and Clarence Maclin start butting heads a little bit. Their philosophies do not work for one another. And eventually this becomes a story of friendship, of accepting one another, of realizing where you are in a moment of life. It becomes this really inspirational story of people making the best of their circumstances. And Colman Domingo is fantastic as the lead of this movie. He really demands that gravitas that we talk about so much with actors. He is at the forefront of this story. But what I really like that Colman Domingo is able to do is you can see a facade in this character. You can see where this character is in sometimes lying to himself. You can see where he is struggling himself. And you can also see where he is putting on the act to almost essentially encourage the men. And there is a critical moment in this film where we really do see the facade just drop and we see this man fall and we see this man struggle. And it's a real painful struggle in this movie. But the way that he leads, the way that he has led these men before, allows these men to take up this role and help him now. It's a really inspirational story about friendship. And again, just accepting where you are in life and that you cannot always be emotionally and thoughtfully there. And it's just a really wonderful moment from Colman Domingo and all the other actors in this movie. I want to focus on this Clarence Maclin performance, as again, he plays himself and he is the screenwriter of this movie. This is a challenging performance to do, especially with the emotion that he is being asked to tap in, reflection, and also the gruffness that he is being portraying within this movie and this dichotomy that he has with the Colman Domingo character of Divine G. And what I love about this performance is you see, it is the classic, in many ways even cliched, but you take a character who is, hard-shelled, and they soften throughout this whole movie. And you need to see the softening. And what this movie does really smartly in its screenplay is it's not gradual. It comes in waves. So at some time you take a step forward and maybe you take a big step forward and then you take a step back. And then maybe you take another step back and then another one. And then you gradually go up. Like, that is the pattern and reflection within this movie. It is not granular. It is not linear. It is at your own pace. And that's what this movie really captures in this. There's a lot of great performances that are doing this. Paul Raci, who was in the movie The Sound of Metal as the teacher, he is also in this movie in a similar role. He is excellent in this movie. Again, another actor who is just able to really lead with his eyes. There is so much emotional, physicality coming through his performance just via his face. When you watch this movie, just focus on his eyes and you can tell the years of feelings that he has in a single moment and how much this means to him. And all of the cast is really good. There's a this is their slang. So one of them is JJ, one of them is Dap. Like, there's a lot of these incarcerated inmates in this movie, or formerly incarcerated now, that do really great wonders with the roles that they're giving. And like I said, I found this an incredibly touching movie. And as we're getting into it, this is also a very funny movie. I don't know if people were necessarily expecting that with Sing Sing, but this movie has a lot of humor in it, especially with this relationship between Colman Domingo and Clarence Maclin as they're butting heads. There's this whole idea of essentially traditionalists versus absurdists in many ways. And you have the Colman Domingo character, who is somebody who has always respected the arts, who, when he portrays characters or when they're choosing their next projects, they are going to the great literature of plays, whether it's Shakespeare, whether it's any of the other greats. And then Clarence Maclin is like, what if we just kind of do our own thing? Like, what if we write something crazy? Like, what if there's gladiators? What if there's time travel? Like, all this stuff. And it's a very, very clearly different place. And it's this relationship as these two try to essentially mix their one actor's love of Shakespeare and the greats and the classics versus this other one who's like, let's just do our own thing and let's have fun with it. And you see those two fuse together in a really satisfying and a really fun way. And when you get to the final product, it's a pretty wonderful thing. And this movie's very well staged in all of its moments, especially as we're in these real sets. We get a lot of the behind the scenes emotions of this movie. I just think it's a really thoughtfully provoking, heartfelt movie that you don't really see a ton of these anymore. Like, this is a movie in the vein of Shawshank Redemption. It's doing a little bit differently. I think this one is a little bit more, kinder, I guess, in its portrayal. But there is a lot of just like beauty to be found in this movie. There's a lot of incredible cinematography work. There's just so much heart and passion in making this film that is apparent in the actual program that they are discussing in this film and that they are all participating in. And it all just comes together in a way that I found pretty seamless, that I found very touching. And it's a way that I could really highly suggest you guys check out. I think you guys will really get a kick out of Sing Sing. It is definitely one of the best films that I saw of 2024. It didn't make my top 10 list, but it is certainly worth the praise, worth the love. And you guys should check it out. And if this goes completely snubbed from the Oscars, and doesn't receive a single nomination, like, yeah, people should be questioning why A24 did this to this movie, because this movie is worth championing, it is worth seeking out, and it is worth, in many ways, valorizing. And that's what I want to do. I want to celebrate the arts when it is very appropriate to celebrate something beautiful. This movie is about the beauty of the arts and the reform, the power that the arts has on our lives. Like, this is obviously something that I cover, kind of daily in mind, where I am constantly thinking about the art. That's what this movie is. It has that same passion that I have, and I found it really touching. I found it really beautiful, and I would really suggest you guys go out and seek Sing Sing. So, big review from me. I'm going to go, I think, 4 stars out of 5 stars, and really do recommend you guys checking this movie out when you get the chance, and I hope you get the chance to see it soon. If you have gotten the chance to see it, let me know and subscribe to my channel. And if you haven't gotten the chance, let me know if you're interested in this movie. And as always, subscribe to my channel for more. I'll be back 48 hours. I will probably be going live on the Thursday morning when Oscar nominations are announced. So for all those who want to join along with me, just follow along to this channel.